Today we're going into a story that's, well, deeply unsettling. We're heading back to 2013 to a small village in southern Shandong, China.
Yeah, this is the case often called the Shandong newlywed murders. Really shocking stuff.
Our information comes from a detailed YouTube video account we've looked at closely.
Yeah.
And what we want to do is walk you through what happened, just based on that source.
Right. From the disappearance, through the investigation, right up to the end, just sticking to the facts presented there.
And a heads up for everyone listening, the source material does describe extreme violence and cruelty. So please, listener discretion is definitely advised here.
It really is a tough one. The victims. Shandong, he was 26, a chef. His wife, Li Hong, 24, she ran a food stall.
Newlyweds, right. Only married about 6 months.
Yeah, apparently very much in love, just starting their life together. And the most heartbreaking part, Li Hong was 3 months pregnant.
How terrible. Their home, the source describes it as a bit isolated.
A little way out of the village, maybe a 20-minute walk. Woods around it, a stream nearby. It sounds nice, but isolated.
And they knew it too. They'd actually been burgled before, the source mentioned.
Right, which is why they tried to beef up security, put in cameras, built a wall, even got a guard dog.
Trying to make it safe.
Exactly. So the timeline really kicks off on the morning of May 15th, 2013. Shandong's mother, Mrs. Liu, was expecting them for breakfast.
Like they did every day.
Yeah, it was a routine. Especially important because Li Hong was pregnant. Mrs. Liu wanted to make sure she was eating well.
But they didn't turn up.
No. She waited, got worried, called Shandong's phone like 3 times. Nothing.
Then Li Hong's.
Same thing. No answer. By then, it was way past breakfast, late for Shandong heading to work. She just felt something was wrong.
So she went over there herself, that 20-minute walk.
She did. And what she found, it was immediately off. The gate, unlocked.
Strange.
Yeah. And their electric bike, their only way to get around really was just parked outside. She called out their names, but silence.
She goes inside.
Goes inside. And it gets weirder. There's this big pot of pork stew cooking on the stove, still warm, and the table is covered in leftover food. A lot of it. Way more than 2 people would eat. It looked like people had been eating there recently.
Didn't feel right for just the 2 of them.
Not at all. The rest of the house looked okay at first, but then she realized the dog was missing.
The guard dog.
Yeah. She searched the yard and, oh, it's awful. She found the dog dead in a corner, pool of blood. There was a bloody brick right next to it. She knew right then, knew her son and daughter-in-law would never hurt that dog. She knew something truly terrible must have happened.
That's when she called the police.
Immediately.
And when the police got there, did they see signs of trouble right away?
Oh, absolutely. They started examining the place, found clear signs someone had forced their way in, climbed the wall, broke the bars on a window, cut them, actually.
So not just smashed, deliberate.
Very deliberate. And here's the thing, the security camera wires cut, disabled the whole system.
Before they broke in.
Seems like it. Which suggests planning, right? They knew about the cameras, this wasn't random.
Okay, so inside the house, what else did the police find?
More disturbing signs. A mop handle was bent, a broom handle broken, signs of a struggle maybe.
And the food. That big stew.
Yeah, the police noted that too. The source mentions Shandong didn't even like pork much, and Li Hong preferred lean meat. So this fatty stew, highly unlikely they cooked it for themselves.
But just the intruders cooked it, and the amount, multiple intruders.
Exactly, and they were there long enough to cook and eat. That's significant. Then they moved to the master bedroom.
What did they find there?
It looks surprisingly clean at first glance, but they could smell cleaning products. Strong smell.
Trying to cover something up.
Looks like it. They found a small blood stain, about palm-sized, on the mattress pad, hidden under where a pillow would be.
Hidden. And anything else?
Yes, hidden in the closet, a blood-stained bedsheet.
Okay, so definitely violence happened there. What about valuables? Was it a robbery?
It looked like it. The computer monitor was still there, but the main part, the CPU tower, was gone.
Interesting. Why take the tower but leave the screen?
We'll get back to that. Also missing, cash, ATM cards, their mobile phones.
And was the whole house like the bedroom cleaned up?
No, actually. There was a smaller room, and that was completely different. Totally ransacked. Clothes, personal items everywhere. And really disturbing torn female underwear scattered around.
Oh, that's chilling.
Yeah. So the police theory started taking shape. Robbery, yes, but one that turned incredibly violent. Possibly murder.
How did Miss Liu take this?
She overheard the police talking. The source says she just collapsed, utterly devastated, telling them through tears that Li Hong was pregnant.
Unimaginable. So the focus shifts to finding them.
Right. Based on everything, the police estimated the crime happened sometime between 7 p.m. the night before, May 14th, and maybe 4 a.m. on the 15th.
And if they were murdered, the bodies might be close by.
That was the hypothesis. Given the violence, they probably didn't move them far. So search teams split up. Some went into the woods, others checked the stream, the river nearby.
Did they find anything?
They brought in a police dog, and the dog got a scent. Led the officers to blood trails. Faint, but there. Leading away from the house, towards this small cave. The entrance was a bit high, maybe 2 meters up an embankment.
A cave. What did they find inside?
It wasn't a big cave, and inside there was this large pile of corn stalks. Just piled up, looked totally out of place.
Like someone was hiding something.
Exactly what they thought. They started removing the corn stalks, and beneath them, they found them. The bodies of Sun Gang and Li Hong.
Oh, God. Just heartbreaking.
The details from the autopsy, they're horrific. Sun Gang's face was severely swollen, bruised purple, signs of repeated strangulation around his neck, heavy blows to his head too, and multiple stab wounds on his body.
It's just brutal. And Li Hong?
Equally horrific, bruising all over. The source mentioned bite marks, burns on her chest, and clear signs of sexual assault. Her genitals were swollen, torn.
And the baby.
The 3-month-old fetus didn't survive, confirmed by the autopsy.
This must have just devastated the family and shocked everyone.
Absolutely. Grief for the family, but also shock, outrage across the community, even nationally in China. The source mentioned people reacting with utter revulsion, like that quote about devils being on Earth. The cruelty was just incomprehensible.
So now, the hunt for the killers begins in earnest. You mentioned search teams were also checking the river.
Yes, and that turned out to be critical. In the stream, not far from the house, they found 3 plastic bags underwater.
What was in them?
Discarded items, but crucial ones. The couple's marriage certificate, Sun Gang's ATM card, and a pair of men's trousers.
Trousers.
Mrs. Liu identified them. They were her sons.
And inside the trousers.
This was the breakthrough. In the pocket, they found a welfare card belonging to a man named Fu Daguan.
Fu Daguan. Did they track him down?
They did. But he was an elderly man in his 70s, apparently bedridden in a nearby town. Very unlikely he was involved in something like this.
Okay, so maybe not him directly.
Exactly. But he had a son, Fu Gang, and Fu Gang was known to use his dad's welfare card sometimes.
Fu Gang? What did they know about him?
He was 26, same age as Sun Gang, but known locally as, well, bit of a thug. Unemployed, hung out at internet cafes, had a prior record.
So he becomes suspect number 1.
Prime suspect. They had his fingerprints on file from his record, and they matched prints found at the crime scene.
But the scene suggested more than one person, right? The food, the level of violence.
Right. Police figured Fu Gang didn't act alone, which brings us back to the stolen ATM card.
The one found in the river bag. Did they check its usage?
They did. It was used 6 times late on May 14th into the early morning. Around 9:30 p.m., withdrawal started. Total taken, 11,000 yuan. About 55,000 Thai baht.
And the ATM camera.
Got footage, showed a man in a hooded sweatshirt making the withdrawals. And weirdly, the source says he looked cheerful, almost happy.
Cheerful after all that. And the sweatshirt.
Later identified as belonging to Li Hong.
Sickening. Could they identify the man from the footage?
Yes, he was identified as Zhao Feng, only 17 years old, a minor.
So now they have 2 names. Fu Gang and Zhao Feng.
Linked to the scene, linked to the stolen money, police put out their descriptions. And just 2 days later, May 16th, they get a tip.
Where were they?
On a bus, heading towards a town called Xintai. Police mobilized fast, about 30 officers, went to intercept that bus.
And the arrest. Was it just those 2?
This is where it gets even clearer there were more involved. As police moved in on the bus, one guy literally jumps out of a window trying to escape.
Wow.
Who was he?
They caught him. Zhang Shuijun, 25 years old. Then another man on the bus pulls out a knife, resists arrest.
Who was that?
Wang Ziying, 22 years old.
So not 2 suspects, but 4. All caught in that one bus interception.
Exactly. Fu Gang, Zhao Feng, Zhang Shuijun, and Wang Ziying, all taken into custody.
And with the evidence mounting prints, ATM footage, the items found, did they confess?
They did, all 4. Faced with everything, they confess. They all knew each other, apparently, from hanging out at internet cafes and doing petty crimes together before.
And the confession revealed the whole story. The planning.
Yes, particularly Zhang Shujun's testimony, according to the source. It was chilling. He admitted that he, Wang Jing, and Zhao Feng were the ones who committed the first burglary at the couple's house.
The one that made them get the cameras and dog.
That's the one. And during that first break-in, Zhang saw a photo of Li Hong, and he became fixated, obsessed with how beautiful she was.
Oh, no.
He developed a plan to go back, not just to rob, but specifically to sexually assault her.
And he told the others.
He told the others, including Fu Gang, told them about Li Hong, about his intentions, and they all agreed. Robbery and assault.
So May 14th, they put the plan into action.
Yeah. The source says they got near the house around 2 p.m., hid in the woods, watching, waiting.
Waiting for what?
Waited until Li Hong left the house on her electric bike around 6 p.m. Once she was gone, Fu Gang went and cut the camera wires. Then they broke in through the window, just like before.
What did they do inside before the couple got back?
Made themselves at home horrifically, ate ice cream from the fridge, looked for things to steal, took kitchen knives to arm themselves.
And the computer CPU. Why take that?
Fu Gang admitted that. He realized he'd been caught on the camera before he cut the wires. He took the CPU to destroy the evidence.
Smart, in a twisted way. Then the couple returns.
Just after 7 p.m., Li Hong walked in first, and the four of them ambushed her, knives out, right by the door.
Sun Gang was right behind her.
Right behind her. He tried desperately to protect her, but it was 4 against 1. They overpowered him quickly, beat him badly, kicked him, tied him up with electrical wire.
While he was tied up, did he try to reason with them?
He pleaded, begged for their lives, offered them everything, all their money, just leave them alone, especially his pregnant wife. But they just ignored him. While this was happening, the robbery part continued.
Yeah, they took his ATM cards, forced him to give the pins. That's when Wang and Zhao left to get the cash from the ATM. They even came back with snacks they bought with the stolen money. And the dog. When did they kill the dog?
Sometime during all this, apparently its barking was annoying them, so they just killed it with that brick.
It's just casual cruelty on top of everything else. And Li Hong.
This is extremely difficult. The source says they dragged her to that smaller room, and all 4 of them repeatedly sexually assaulted her.
While Sun Gang was tied up nearby.
Tied up, forced to hear everything. He kept pleading, kept reminding them she was pregnant. The source stresses how severe the assaults were, but doesn't go into more detail, thankfully.
It's almost unimaginable. Did the cruelty stop there?
No. They used psychological torture too. They forced Sun Gang to cook for them, made him cook that pork stew, threatened to kill Li Hong right then if he refused.
Forced him to cook for his attackers.
And they gave them false hope, told them, cooperate and we won't kill you, made them think they might actually survive this.
How long did this go on?
The source calls it 8 hours of hell. 8 hours of torture, abuse, fear, clinging to that lie that they might live.
8 hours, then what?
After 8 hours, they decided they were going to kill them both.
Who did they kill first?
Sun Gang. Took him to the master bedroom, strangled him, first with wire, then a chain, stabbed him multiple times, finally suffocated him with a plastic bag over his head. Asphyxiation was the cause of death.
And then they went back for Li Hong.
Yes. She asked them, "Where's my husband?" they told her, cruelly. "He's dead, you're next." The source says she just cried.
How did they kill her?
Suffocation again, plastic bag over her head, cloth over her mouth and nose, asphyxiation, and then they used cigarettes to burn parts of her body, just to make sure she was dead.
That detail.
Yeah.
It's just pure evil.
It really is. After the murders, they moved the bodies to that cave, covered them with the corn stalks, went back to the house, tried to clean up the blood.
Which brings us back to the trousers and the welfare card. How did that happen?
Fu Gang explained it. He took Sun Gang's pants after the murder, put his dad's welfare card in the pocket, maybe thinking he'd wear them, but then changed his mind, didn't wear them. He just threw the pants, along with other stuff, into the river, completely forgot the card was still inside.
A tiny mistake that cracked the whole case.
Incredible, isn't it? They threw the bags with the trash, the marriage certificate, the ATM card, the pants, all into the river, thinking they were getting rid of evidence. And they met up, spent some money, planned to get on that bus and leave town.
And the motive, ultimately. Robbery that escalated? Or was the assault the main goal?
It seems mixed. Some were probably just focused on robbery. But Zhang Shuizhong, the one who saw her photo first, he admitted his primary motive was that obsession, the plan to sexually assault Li Hong. That seems to have been the driving force for returning.
The trial must have been intense given the public reaction.
Extremely. Happened quickly. Huge public outrage. Demands for the death penalty.
And the verdict.
Guilty. Robbery, gang rape, or the specific legal term for sexual assault there, an intentional homicide. The court stressed the extreme cruelty involved.
Sentencing.
Death penalty for Fu Gang, Zhang Shuzhong, and Wang Jing. Zhao Feng, the 17-year-old, got life imprisonment because he was a minor.
What happened to them in prison? The source mentioned something.
Yeah, reports from former inmates, guards. Apparently, they faced constant severe abuse from other prisoners, especially because of the rape aspect. Seen as karma inside the prison walls.
Were the death sentences carried out?
Yes. Fu Gang, Zhang Zuijun, and Wang Jing were executed on June 22nd, 2016, about 3 years after the crimes.
And Zhao Feng, the one who got life, what's his status?
It's a bit unclear. According to the source, there were rumors he might get out early, maybe after 22 years, for good behavior. But other reports suggest the abuse he suffered in prison was so bad he basically lost his mind, became mentally incapacitated. So whether he'll even survive the sentence, it's uncertain.
What a truly harrowing journey through this case. From Mizalu's first worry to the police work, the capture, the horrifying details, and the final outcomes.
It really underscores how crucial tiny details can be, doesn't it? The stew, the dog, that welfare card forgotten in a pocket, even the way someone looked on an ATM camera. All these little pieces came together.
Yeah, meticulous police work connecting those dots.
For you listening, we know this was incredibly difficult to hear. It's a stark, brutal reminder of the capacity for human cruelty and the devastating loss of Sun Gang, Li Hong, and their unborn child. The speed of the justice process in this specific case, as recorded, is also something to note.
And maybe thinking beyond the specifics. This case really makes you confront how things like opportunity, existing criminal ties, and one person's dark obsession can intersect in the most destructive way imaginable, annihilating innocent lives and futures.
A truly chilling thought. Thank you for staying with us through this very difficult deep dive.
We really appreciate you joining us. If you gained something from this discussion, please do subscribe and follow the show wherever you get your podcasts.